Ho ho, doctor, lo and behold, there you are. You find yourself on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255. And we're going to get into one of Clark the Shark's favorite albums of all time by one of his favorite groups, the amazing, incomparable, the Electric Prunes, baby. On the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255, the Wolfman Jack on crack, coming to you live from the golden EIB Sharkraphone. And I'm talking about an album and a band, really, man. These guys mean more to me than life itself. The Electric Prunes. You talk about a band that belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, a lot of these songs on the album, and you talk to anybody who knows rock and roll, psychedelic, garage, they know all about 1966 or, even up to Iggy and the Stooges or Funhouse or, Iron Butterfly, whatever. But in the 1960s, there was an amazing movement in 1966 where a lot of bands returned to the garage and they're trying to make a raw, very raw American sound. And over in England, they took notice, man, of this 1966 American garage sound. The Count Five, the Standells, the Music Machine. Of course, the Who were the godfathers of this scene over in England. But there was a band called the Electric Prunes in America. And look at this mob. I mean, you talk about Iggy and the Stooges, but before, this unhappy family. And they got signed to a record deal, and, everyone said, oh, the Electric Prunes are so great, their original songs. And, one of the worst things that can happen to a band is you're great live, and then you get signed, and they bring in all these songwriters. But in some weird twist of fate, it's somehow all worked out incredibly well for this amazing album. And this is an album that the Electric Prunes guys in the band, they all actually hate this album, or, they don't hate it. But, there are definitely misgivings here. Over the years, many of the Prunes have just said, that damn album, even though everyone loves it, even though it's so great, this guy right here, James Lowe, he's so talented, songwriter, and all these guys, man. And Mark Tulin, the bass player, he's kind of a legend, to underground people. And the drummer, man, is this guy, Preston Ritter, of course. And James the Weasel sings a couple of tracks, but to me, the Electric Prunes, these guys, it's more of a fate thing, kind of like the Monkees. I mean, James Lowe, of course, is kind of a legend to everybody in the punk rock world, alternative, indie, grunge, new wave. The people who celebrate, 1966, 1967, that raw thing. But these people mean something to us, The people who love the 60s, there's a special place in our heart forever, the Electric Prunes. Another weird thing about this band is there's a Christian angle. These guys, there's Christian guys in the band or something. It's really weird. And some of these guys went on to be like missionaries, and, it's all mixed up with garage, psychedelia, and rebellion. It's really weird, man. It's a lot like Clark the Shark at 1-800-449-8255. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. I mean, these guys are as dark and evil and underground as you can get. The Electric Prunes. And yet there's this Christian thing running. There's and even themes in their songs running in this band. And these guys are legends, man. And this album You know, it's it's legendary, man. It's, you know, it's the Electric Prunes' first album. It's so dark and mysterious. And they didn't write many of these songs, but it's almost like it's better because these girls, you know, this Nancy and Annette, whoever they were, they wrote, I had too much to dream last night. And I don't know, man, if the Prunes themselves could have written such a great, incredible, one of the greatest rock and roll songs in history. And it was all meant to be because it was produced and recorded by the fabulous Electric Prunes. You know, over in England, they love this band. Oh, Pete Townsend loved this band. Iggy Pop loves the Electric Prunes, man. And we don't care if they wrote the songs. I mean, I wish they did. That would have been amazing. But side one of this album has to be considered one of the greatest side ones in rock and roll. Bangles, which is killer garage psychedelia. And it goes into like this 3/4 part, you know, like this weird 6/8. It's almost like, you know, the Buffalo Springfield, or there were bands back in the 60s that would just bust out the 3/4 or the 6/8 out of nowhere. I think, you know, like Neil Young did it. Maybe he did it because of Bangles, trying to rip off this song. I know Arthur Lee and Love had to have loved the Electric Prunes' Bangles. It is such a fucking killer song, man. You talk about underground garage. Hey, little Steven, you know, you better be talking about the Electric Prunes' Bangles. Track number 2, side 1. And then the song Ani, which is this mellow, brooding. It almost seems too mellow and light, but there's something killer about the song. Sounds like Arthur Lee and Love. Really solid, really good. And of course, we all know, you know, Are You Loving Me More, but Enjoying It Less. Just classic fucking killer garage rock. This is 1967, you know, but this album really was recorded in 1966. And Train for Tomorrow, so killer, man. I love side 1 of this album. It's one of my favorite. Oh, if you're in the mood for dark, underground 60s rock, if you're listening to like DirecTV 8 tracks, 11:30 at night, and they, you know, DirecTV 8 tracks, that channel on DirecTV, they play these songs by the Electric Prunes, man. And they don't just play I Had Too Much to Dream. They'll sneak in one of these killer songs from this amazing album. I love Train for Tomorrow. It's fucking killer, but I love Sold to the Highest Bidder. Oh, it's just so, like, ironic, and like the Prunes are just pissed off or something. I mean, whoever wrote the song, it just goes with the concept of the Prunes, like no selling out. If we do get on the radio, it's still going to be dark, underground psychedelia in a garage. This is like psychedelic garage. 1966 meets 1967. It's perfect.